We are approaching the time of year where we're getting closer to finals. The test taking becomes really critical, whether you're middle school, junior high, high school, or college. It's really good to start planning now so you can make sure you're successful and have a plan of attack. So here are some tips in making sure that you're studying correctly in preparing for your testing. One is look at each of your classes and figure out how much time you're going to need to give each of those classes time to study for the test. So let's say you have 5 classes and you think each one of those tests are going to take about 3 hours each to study for. So if there's 5 tests and 3 hours each, that's 15 hours. So the next step is, where are those 15 hours going to come from? If you don't plan it, it's not going to happen, and you're going to find yourself procrastinating, potentially waiting till the last minute, cramming the night before, which is the worst thing you can do. So you can plan out your time. When you do that, you want to follow some basic principles in how to study. One is you want to study in 3 different days, because that retrieval practice is important. What that forces you to do is kind of restudy what you already studied the previous day, right? And so you're retrieving it again and again. Studying in 3 different locations is really helpful because it builds different associations for you to be able to retrieve the information different ways. So study the content in a different location, outside, inside, different rooms, things like that. The most important dynamic, though, in studying effectively is to do what's called active studying, okay? So reviewing information is not studying, just kind of like reading through your notes, kind of looking at the information you've already learned. I mean, that's common and it's not bad to do that, but if you're only doing that, you're not really studying. You need to do what's called active studying. So what is that? Active studying is taking the content and turning it into a different outcome. So you can take that content and turn it into an outline, for example. You can turn it into a visual map, for example. Make a practice test. That's a great thing to do for yourself. Like, anticipate the questions you're going to get and create a practice test for yourself. What that shows is you're really able to grasp and understand and manipulate the content in subjects that require problem solving. Math being the most obvious, but other things like chemistry, for example. Active study is actually doing a lot of problems, right? So just do them over and over and over again to show yourself and to ingrain in your brain how to actually solve those problems, because that's what you're going to face in a test. So that's what active studying looks like. Look, finals are hard, they can be stressful, but follow these tips. You can do it. You absolutely got this.